Warning, the following content may contain spoilers for film and television programs. It is also intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. All you Seaites out there. Welcome back to podcast number... Who knows? That's right. This is one of our filler podcasts. In the event that one of us or multiple persons are not available to record a podcast, we have a whole bunch of filler bullshit podcasts recorded just for your listening pleasures, where we talk about generic stuff that would fit in anywhere. Joining us today, we have myself, Andrew Wormsby, drinking, as always, some Johnny Walker Black Label. Also today we have...
Zach Chadwick, and I'm having some Heineken this time.
And Austin Fairburn. I got a little O'Fallon Hemp Hop Rye.
So let's talk about some generic bullshit that really doesn't attain to anybody. There's no news, there's no trailer talk, because we don't know when this is coming out.
Yes.
So
these are just questions, really, that we came up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Among many, many, many questions.
So you get to know us just a little bit better. All right, let's start off with... What is your guilty pleasure film and show? Mr. Chadwick.
Oh, me first? You guys are going to like this.
What? Okay, let's do films first and then TV shows afterwards.
My guilty pleasure movie, and every time it's on TV, I can't help but watch it because it makes me laugh. Legally Blonde. The first one. I shit you not. That movie, I don't know why, but it's so good. It makes me laugh every time. I can't help but watch it. The part... It's one of the best moments in comedy for some reason, because I think it's something that I would do. There's the part where she just gets to Harvard and she's meeting the people in her group. There's all those people around her talking about how brilliant they are. And then you get the guy who looks like he's just sort of a stoner, doesn't care. He says, "Hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm 22 years old. Little known fact, Stephen Hawking got his brief history of time from my 4th grade paper." I can't help every time, man. It kills me. I laugh every time. So good.
Let's see. My guilty pleasure for film, Across the Universe. Have you guys
Wow.
seen that?
Is that the Beatles movie?
That's the Beatles movie.
It's the Beatles
I haven't
movie.
seen it.
Honestly, as far as the film's considered, it's not the best, but I just love the Beatles, and the singing performances aren't bad, and you know what? I just love that movie. I mean, they basically make a movie plot based on a series of Beatles songs. And I don't know, I saw it in theaters, actually. I fucking love that movie.
My guilty pleasure film stars Danny Trejo, Sam Jackson, and Vin Diesel. That's right, my guilty pleasure movie is Triple X.
Danny Trejo's in that movie? I don't
He's in it
remember
for 3 seconds. It's a super bad movie, but...
It's better than the second one.
With Ice Cube. I don't know why, just every single time I see it come on, I'm like... Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing today.
Hey, let me drive my Camaro, whatever the fuck it is, next to the river, and then jump on a boat.
No. Oh yeah. No, that was a Charger,
or
a Challenger.
Fucking old car. I don't know.
It was a beautiful car too. I loved it. But oh man, just that movie. They tried to bring back just cheesy action flicks. They totally missed the bullet. But what they came up with on its own was just
great.
It was really good. You know, you guys, as soon as I said the name, you guys started laughing, so you knew it's just a bad, good movie.
Yeah.
And I tried to think
yeah.
I tried to think of a movie that wasn't trying to intentionally be bad, like Snakes on a Plane or something like that. So, TV shows.
It stars several famous TV personalities and Kristen Bell. I love Veronica Mars.
Oh yeah, you've said this before.
Even begin to describe how much I love this show. I've seen so many episodes, and when I finish the series, I'm going to watch the fucking movie. It's good. I don't know why. It's so good.
I actually have multiple. I have 2 of these, actually.
2 of them?
The first one's not as much a guilty pleasure. A lot of people actually like the show, but I feel like it's kind of dropped off, but I still enjoy watching, and that's House. Hugh Laurie.
How can that be a guilty pleasure?
I never got
in my
that.
top shows of all time.
Really, a lot of people talked about like it dropping off in the last few seasons, and I'm just now getting to watch the seasons and I actually like them a lot.
The only episode I've really seen is the one where the daughter comes in and she's like a model and they can't figure out what's wrong with her, but then it turns out
she's a
boy.
guy.
Yeah,
That's a
and the dad
great
was like
episode.
banging her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dad was
Fucked up, man.
He's
great.
no, this isn't a joke. Me calling you a homo is a joke.
Yeah.
One of the best lines. No, that's not a guilty pleasure. What's your other one?
My other one is absolutely guilty pleasure, and that is Supernatural.
Oh yeah,
I don't think
CW
that's
show?
a guilty pleasure. Man.
Really?
It's a
that
bad
show.
show.
Has a massive cult following.
but it's a bad show.
It's like it's not good.
See,
but
House
I love
is a
it.
good show.
I
Just
thought you
not
were
a
about
lot
to
of-
say like the Housewives of Orange County or something.
Mine's going to be along those lines. Okay.
Oh, no.
So you know how I was dying of cholera the other week. So I was laying on the couch. The remote was right next to me, and I could have changed the channel anytime I wanted. But I watched Property Brothers, the house show.
No, that's not good. I watch HGTV on the regular.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not that bad.
I watched Property Brothers like 9 episodes in a row. I could have changed it. I want to know what I can do with my kitchen.
I mean, I watched the shit out of some Love It or List It. I'm just saying.
There's
Okay.
what's the show where the guy helps people pick from like 2 or 3 different ones, and then they renovate it, and make it into like a rental property. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah. Property Virgins.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
What's the one where the guy he goes into like Home Depot and Lowe's and he says, "Do you need your backyard fixed?" The guy who's like has a massive receding hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That was on after Property Brothers. I'm like, I'll give this one a go too.
Those are all kind of guilty pleasure TV shows, but I love all of them. All I do is sit down and watch HGTV now. It's
the
crazy.
Home Garden channel.
if I had cable, I would.
You know what? I actually got one maybe worse. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I used to watch that Bravo channel and would watch.
like Real Housewives.
No. It's a reality show. Where they fucking design dresses and shit.
Oh, Say Yes to the Dress.
No.
Or Next Top
Project
Model.
Runway.
With Heidi Klum.
Oh,
yeah,
Yes.
Project Runway.
Yeah.
it's a good fucking show.
I watched that too.
She's still hot,
Heidi Klum is still hot. Yes,
smoking.
she was pregnant through one of the seasons. It was like,
and she's
is
still
it bad? I think she still looks really fucking fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. So the
Moving
next,
on.
Yeah. What canceled show would you like to see come back?
I'll start this one off. I fucking love this show.
And it cannot be Firefly.
And it will not be Firefly.
Yeah,
Everybody
we'll come out
and
and
their
say
mother says,
We
I
want-
want Firefly.
we all
to
want
come-
Firefly
We
to
all
come
want
back.
Firefly to be original. So, what do you got?
Jericho.
Yeah. That show dropped off in its prime.
I guess I should watch
Give
it.
a rundown of what Jericho was about.
Jericho is the epitome of post-apocalyptic world. What happens is there is nuclear fallout, EMPs across the United States, and basically instead of focusing on like a big city or anything, it's a small town of Jericho, Kansas, and its residents in the aftermath of this fallout, and they're trying to discover what happened to basically everything. And then as it moves on, you get like government agencies involved, and there's like side governments like popping up trying to take control. Very interesting. It was a great show. And it was Fox, I think, actually. And
Well, of course it was.
It got canceled after the first season, but then they brought it
back for a second.
But it only got halfway through the second season
Yeah.
before it got canceled
I
again.
hate Fox.
The thing I liked about Jericho was it hit directly on what would happen, because a lot of post-apocalyptic shows, and there really haven't been that many, they take place long after everybody's figured out what they need to do to survive.
This is when you're trying to figure out what the hell's
you
going on.
actually
Yeah.
see the first episode, you see the nukes go off in the distance and the EMP, there's nothing. Everybody is trying to figure out what they have to do, because everybody's living this first world luxury, even for a small town in Kansas,
yeah.
a luxury life of, electricity, running clear water, fresh food.
At the end of the first season, you literally have 2 towns. And I grew up in a small town in Missouri. 2 small towns, basically militias like coming and fighting each other over resources, which is something that's completely realistic if really the world went to shit.
Yeah, and it has, the mayor of the town, he's still like, am I still the one in charge here? Mm-hmm. And it also has Lenny James
as the
mysterious guy who just moved into town.
Of course, he's the only black guy in Kansas, so there's that. But
that's why it's really
token black guy.
The token black. No, he's not. No, he's amazing.
Intense, yeah.
All right, what's yours?
My show lasted, I believe, for 3 or 4 seasons, It starred Tim Roth, and it was a show called Lie to Me,
Yeah.
where he was Dr. Cal Lightman, and he judged people's body language and their facial expressions to see if they were lying or not.
It was a great show.
One of the coolest premises for shows, one of my favorite episodes of any TV show ever, it was a poker tournament, the World Series of Poker.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that
I
one?
haven't seen it.
And one of the final table people had murdered somebody, and these people, they're the best in the world at hiding facial expressions and tells and stuff like that. And he has to find out which of these masters of hiding facial expressions has killed somebody. Holy shit. I love that.
What
episode.
network was that show on? Fox.
Yeah.
Big fucking surprise.
Yeah.
Screw you, Fox. You have great TV shows that you cancel.
Yeah. They canceled the good ones and they keep the shitty ones. It lasted from 2009 to 2011. It just, like, that last episode was like a cliffhanger, like, oh shit, I can't wait for next season. 3 years later, people are like, is it ever coming out? And then we're like, it's never coming back. Yeah. It was super sad. I love Tim Roth was just he would like get right up in people's faces just to look at him. The thing I really liked about the show is they would talk about how, oh, this is how you can tell if this person's lying. And then they would do flashbacks to famous like politicians and celebrities like in court trials.
Doing the same
doing
thing.
Those expressions like, oh, okay. And in real life, it's not a really viable way of telling if somebody's lying, but it was a really cool show. I loved it so much. What do you got, Zach?
I would have said Heroes if 2 months ago they didn't announce they're bringing it back.
Oh, yeah.
But it's pretty... if you know me, you know what I'm going to say, and I kind of get away early. But Deadwood is the only show I've ever seen on HBO, and later on. But it's so good. It's the Gold Rush, I don't know, late 1800s, South Dakota. All these people are just vying for power in this little town where it matters. And it's got Powers Booth, it's got Timothy Olyphant and John Hawkes, and the guy who played the mentally handicapped brother in Something About Mary. I can't remember his name.
Have you seen my baseball?
The guy that plays Raymond Tusk in House of Cards is in the show. Yeah. And it ended after season 3, and it ended on such a cliffhanger that HBO, the idea was they were going to make, the season 4 was going to be it, and they just ended it. They said, oh, it's too expensive. Well, this is the reason why they've come on record and said Game of Thrones will not be ended early, because people still, how many years later, 8 years later, are still butthurt over the fact that it got canceled early.
And didn't Garrett Dillahunt play two different
characters? He played two different guys.
Yeah.
One was the guy who killed Wild Bill Hickok.
Wild Bill Hickok, yeah.
And then he played another guy, Francis Walcott, I think his name was. Really creepy dude who had some issues.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was so good. I wish they would have brought it back. And they've said, oh, we're going to make a movie or this. They're not going to do anything.
And if this, like I said, Lie to Me is mine, but if this podcast comes out, I don't know why it would, but in 2015, my request for a film I want to come back is The Newsroom.
Yeah.
Because they've only said they're only making 3 seasons of that show. So I'm already sad that it's not even canceled yet. The 3rd season, we're recording this in April 2014. The show hasn't even come out yet for its 3rd season, but I already miss it.
Yeah.
All right, so next one is what series and film is the most overrated and what's the most underrated?
4-parter. I'll start off we'll start with film overrated, and then we'll go to film underrated, and then show over, and then under. So right. Film overrated. Hunger Games. I liked the books a lot, and I was you know how excited I was for the movie.
I remember you made a shirt.
Yeah, I made a shirt.
We actually went to that premiere
and stood
together.
In line.
I did go, and I grabbed your boob.
Yeah, there's a picture on Facebook. It's proof.
Yeah. I said, "Bitch was on fire," is what my shirt said. Oh, I was just so disappointed with that film.
We've talked about this. It's that fucking shaky ass camera work.
It was it was just really, really bad.
And the fact that you guys read the books.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, and no, there's a lot of books I've read that the movie turned out to be really good, but. Jennifer Lauren is super fine, and I was really excited to see her in this because I loved her in Winter's Bone, which also had Garrett Dillahunt in it. It just made me so mad that it was that bad of a movie because I was super excited. Just like I was super excited for the Wolverine Origins movie, but Nobody thought that was a good movie, so it's not overrated.
Yeah.
Hunger Games, a lot of people like that movie. The first one, the second one, Catching Fire, is a really, really good movie.
Is it?
But the Hunger Games,
I like the
first,
second movie better than the first one.
it was 1,000 times better
I
than the
haven't
first
seen
one.
it yet.
But Hunger Games first movie, very overrated, in my opinion. Zach,
My
overrated movie.
My most overrated movie is Titanic.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie so much there aren't enough words to describe how bad that movie is. There are so many people that love it. It made tons of money for a long time. It was the highest grossing movie, and I don't get it. I thought it would have been better if they would have continued the stuff with Bill Paxton at the beginning instead of going back to all the shit with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet.
It's because at the time they were both sex symbols, young, attractive. It's a romance movie with tragedy. Like that's it. That's why.
Sorry.
You know why it made a lot of money?
Awful.
PG-13 boobs.
It
Boobs.
was so awful. The best part, there were
paint
two
your
things in that
tits.
movie that were great.
The credits.
Well, okay, 3.
Zing.
Heyo. Billy Zane was really good as the douche rich guy. He was awesome. And the guy that played Theoden in Lord of the Rings was in it. That's it. That's it. That movie, so I can't even. Oh, no.
I thought it was good, but
It
it's very overrated.
It gives me shivers to think about how much I hate that movie.
You hate that movie more than anybody I know.
Yeah, it's like I put it along, and this is whatever. I put it along the same lines as Nirvana being considered one of the greatest bands of all time.
I don't
They're
like
not.
Nirvana at all.
It is a sad day in music when Nirvana's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Rush is.
Yeah,
I agree. Small Like Teen Spirit's still a great song though.
No,
No, it
I
really
can't
is.
think of a single Nirvana song I like. Overrated movie. Austin, go.
Star Trek, first one.
No, you're talking like the 2000.
J.J. Abrams?
J.J.
J.J.
Abrams.
Abrams, yeah.
Shut your hole.
Nope, overrated. Overrated. You want to know why? Let's see how many fucking solar flares you can put in one goddamn movie.
There's nothing
So
wrong with
what?
so I
No.
like it.
There's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
there's
It
absolutely
fits
something
into
wrong with
the
it.
movie.
No, it doesn't. Because you're doing it just to do it.
No, because it works.
Does it forward the story at all?
Oh, there's a lot of things in a lot of movies that don't forward a story. It's called special effects.
But people talk about Star Trek, the first Star Trek J.J. Abrams movie, like it's like the greatest sci-fi movie ever fucking made.
Oh,
Well, those people are idiots.
Yeah, those people are idiots.
It's a fun movie.
yeah, it's
It's
Okay,
those
fun.
are the same
Okay,
people
if
that
you're
say
going-
Transformers are good.
yeah. If you're going off for overrating, if you're basing this on the people that say it's the greatest of all time, then yeah, it's overrated. But if you're going off normal people who say yeah, it's just a really good sci-fi movie,
I thought it was like
it's not overrated.
I thought it was an okay sci-fi movie at best.
No, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay at best.
All right. Well,
Moving on.
Okay, so-
underrated movie of all time.
Underrated movie of all time.
I'll start since maybe you guys can
Yeah, go
redeem
ahead.
myself after that one. Okay, well, I originally said or thought Mud.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey came out about 2 years ago at this point in time.
No, it didn't. It came out last summer.
2012.
The
Yeah.
year did Superman come out in 2012?
No, 2012.
It came out the same year as Superman.
The fuck does Superman? Oh, okay.
It came out in 2012. It was released.
Okay,
in
so
Oh
2012.
wow, I didn't know
It
that.
had
I'm
like
sorry.
limited release.
Yeah, it was
in
special
2000.
That must be
theaters,
why.
yeah.
That must be okay. Sorry.
Matthew McConaughey, dude, that's going to be in the new. What movie is it? That you mentioned.
Joe.
Joe, yeah, with Nicolas Cage. Really great movie. Go see it. It's on Netflix now. Well, it is at this point in time. May not be when you listen to this. Mud, great movie. My true underrated film is called I Melt With You.
I Melt With You.
I Melt With You. Have you seen that?
I've never heard of it.
It's got Rob Lowe and Jeremy Piven in it.
I like Rob Lowe.
And Jeremy Piven.
I like
awesome.
Piven too, but Rob Lowe's fun.
Okay, weeks ago, talked about our least favorite movies of all time, and I mentioned
I don't remember.
Prince of Persia with Jake Gyllenhaal. That has like a 6.6 or something like that, something crazy like that. This movie has a 6.0.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, I will be honest with you. It is a little bit self-indulgent. It's really pretentious. A lot of people will not like this movie. But if you like art films and you're all about just the character, fuck plot, because there's no plot to this movie at all. It's about 4 middle-aged men who hate their fucking lives and just want to drink and do drugs and just talk about shit. If you're okay with watching that for 2 hours, watch I Melt With You. Because the camera work, it gave me feels on the inside. Like seriously.
Wow.
Do you know who the cinematographer was?
No, but the director was the guy that made it was like Mothman movie. Not the horror film, the
The Mothman Prophecy?
Yes. Same director.
That was, who was in that movie, Mothman Prophecy?
It was...
Richard Gere.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie. Same director. He does a lot of, like, music videos and stuff, but...
Okay.
Same guy. Honestly, a lot of people hate on that movie, and it's not the best, but I thought underrated. As far as underrated goes, I would definitely suggest watching I Met With You. It's better than a 6.0 in my opinion.
Okay.
Right on. You want me to go? Or,
You go for it, Zach.
well,
Underrated movie.
I would have said The Crow. I love that fucking movie, the original.
Not the best.
Oh man, whatever. Anyway, but this one's actually slightly under that, and I couldn't believe it. It's on my top 10 films of all time. Trade with Kevin Kline. It's only got a 7.5.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Crow has a 7.6.
That's definitely
I
underrated,
couldn't believe it. It's so good. It's one of those movies.
I would take Trade over The Crow any day.
Well, yeah, me too. I'm just saying that the reason I picked Trade is because I thought it was rated higher than that.
Yeah.
But
when did Trade come out? 2003, 4?
no, it's not that old. Let me check. But I think it came out in 2008.
2007. Wow.
Okay, so 2007. I was close.
Yeah.
Really good. Love that movie. Kevin Kline is amazing. And the girl who gets kidnapped and then the person she sort of meets up with.
Fantastic acting.
Oh, man. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
For my underrated movie, directed by John McTiernan, who made Die Hard, Predator, Hunt for Red October,
Oh, man.
all those movies. Written by Michael Crichton. It's a movie came out in 1999 starring Antonio Banderas, and that's The 13th Warrior.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It's a really good movie.
I've never actually seen that before.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
It has a 6.5 on IMDb.
Oh, it's so much better than that.
Zach, go watch Godfather 2, then you can say something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No,
Anyway.
I watched the first one. It's awesome.
It's Antonio Banderas. He's from Spain, but he's playing an Arabian, so that's kind of a stretch. But it takes place with a whole bunch of
Vikings.
Have you read the book Eaters of the Dead? That's what it's based off of.
Okay, sorry, I got for just like a second. I'm gonna reverse back. Have you seen Valkyrie with
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's such a horrible movie.
It
Talking
was-
about a
it was
stretch.
pretty bad.
He is Tom Cruise playing a German person, but he doesn't even try an accent. He's like, I'm gonna talk like a fucking American and just pretend I'm fucking German for this 2 hours.
I never desired to see that movie.
I hate films like that. They don't try for accents. I hate it when there's a whole bunch of British people playing, just different accents. Like they had Bill Nighy, Kenneth Branagh, Tom Wilkinson, all playing Nazis, but they didn't even try to throw down a German accent.
In what
Sort
movie?
of like
Valkyrie?
Yeah, in Valkyrie. But
Wow, it has that kind of cast?
Yeah, it also.
Oh, wow.
It
It's
had,
just lazy.
Like, do you remember what was this Russian sniper? Enemy at the Gates.
Enemy at the Gates with
Everybody
Jude Law.
in that movie was British, and they were all playing Russians. Besides Ed Harris, who was German. Not a single accent in that entire movie. But back to the 13th Warrior. Like I said, Antonio Banderas is playing an Arabian, but it's about an Arabian who meets up with a whole bunch of Vikings who has to go up north to their homeland and fight off a bunch of demons that are attacking their villages. Everybody in that movie besides Antonio Banderas is actually Swedish, Nordic.
Nice.
It's
a good
If
movie.
you haven't seen it, it's right up there. Everything's
I have not.
alphabetized up there. Grab it for him. Is it not up there?
No, it's
It's
not.
probably in my DVD player then. No, but it has a 6.5 on IMDb, which I think is insane. It's such a good movie.
I think those are all
that's
good underrated films in it because all in the sixes on IMDb and we all vouch
Well, I
for
picked
them.
one that was 7.5.
Oh, wow.
Okay, overrated, underrated television shows. I'll start this one off. Overrated television show, Mad Men. A lot of people really like it. It wins
Emmys and stuff,
Golden,
yeah.
or it used to anyway. I'd never seen. I'd only seen a few episodes. None of them grabbed me. Same with Boardwalk Empire. None of those grabbed. I hope I didn't steal anybody's. But
No.
it just
That's a good one though.
for being overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even
It
get
just-
that.
But I think a lot of people hype up Mad Men more than what they should. John Hamm's great. Christina Hendrick is super fine.
Yeah.
Other than that, doesn't cut it though for a good TV show.
Yeah.
It's just I don't get it. So for me, overrated television show, Mad Men. What you got, Zach?
this show, everyone loves. I remember when it was ending, they had so many people that were trying to guess the ending, and I couldn't. I mean, it was all over the place.
Can I
Huge.
guess what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Lost?
No.
Okay,
no.
good. If you were going to say
No.
Lost,
I haven't seen Lost.
I would literally fight your face.
I don't have a desire to see it, and I don't think it's terrible. But it is classic sitcom that everyone loves that I know.
Oh, is it
Seinfeld.
Oh.
I think it's overrated. Way overrated. There's only a few episodes I've seen that I actually... I know.
The show's great.
Honestly, I can kind of agree with what you're saying, though.
There's only a few episodes that are good to me. The one where they're in the mall and they can't find the car in the parking garage. Where Kramer hits the ball into the whale.
Soup Nazi.
I mean, there's a few, but
There's a few.
There's so many episodes where I ask myself, why am I watching this?
Honestly, there's a lot of Seinfeld episodes I like, but I don't think they deserve the hype it necessarily gets.
It's not. I don't think it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all time.
It is the greatest sitcom. You
No,
could put in
it isn't.
any single episode of any Seinfeld, it would be the funniest thing I'd seen all day.
No, sorry. You, sir.
Overrated TV show.
Mine may get more heat than that. I don't know. I voiced this while we were doing our March Madness thing a while ago. It was actually one of our top 4.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
The Walking Dead.
Oh, no, I don't hate you for that.
I believe The Walking Dead, I don't think it's bad by any means. I think it's a good show. I think it is definitely overrated, though.
Watch this newest season.
But one season.
No,
Well,
there's only 4 seasons.
The last 2 episodes of season 1 at the CDC, that is some great.
No, that's
shit.
some great show. The entire
You're
third
basing
season
it.
I don't like.
Okay, one season.
Every show has a bad season.
Yeah,
I have to give you that.
But the best shows and 4 seasons,
Even like Breaking Bad had a bad season.
Season 1,
Even Game of Thrones had a bad season.
season 2.
Yeah.
whatever. We're Walking Dead.
Okay.
I don't hate you for
You
it.
guys,
but I kind of get it. All
If
right.
I thought you were going to say like The Simpsons or something of how much it's fallen off. And
I hate The Simpsons. I don't think it's ever been funny, except
Really?
for maybe the first 3 seasons.
I love Simpsons, especially like Halloween episodes.
Some of those are good.
Yeah, the Treehouse of Horror.
Particularly the one where they get the hand and they make a wish, and each time they make a wish, the finger. Yeah, that's a good one. But
Underrated TV shows. Zach, start us off.
underrated TV shows. This show, man, I don't even know if it's underrated. I can't say. I mean, can we say it? Because it wasn't one that we said we couldn't say it for ones we want brought back.
If you
Firefly?
I think Firefly is underrated. I think it's even better than people say it is. Because think about it. That started something that's still going on. There's still people there's a huge community of people that watch that show still.
Yeah.
That are still petitioning people to bring it back. It started something where now networks are a little slower on the draw to cancel super popular TV shows like that.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why I'm saying it's underrated, because it has a more of a reach than just a show that was on.
I guess I can see that, but at the same
I
time,
don't.
it's such a big fall.
But okay, this will be my real one. Okay, that was fun.
that was just a taste.
Yeah, that was a taste.
Appetizer.
Adult Swim has some pretty good stuff on it, and it's not a show that a lot of people talk about.
Is it Aqua Teen?
No, I don't know. That show's funny, but it's not Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken's awesome. That has some of the best shit funniest
I love
stuff.
how Family Guy makes fun of that show.
Yeah.
So funny that I've woken people up in the middle of the night laughing because I'm watching this show. I mean, yeah, it's lowbrow. Some of it's lowbrow, but whatever. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Austin. Underrated TV show.
Underrated TV shows. Okay, let's see here. Well, first off, I was going to say Pushing Daisies.
Oh, that's a good show.
Isn't that have
It's
Michael
Joss
C.
Whedon,
Hall? Or am I thinking of what's
This is the movie where the guy can touch dead bodies and they come back
Come
and
back to
talk to
life,
him.
yeah.
what am I thinking? 6 Feet Under.
I think 6 Feet Under.
Okay, Pushing Up
which
Daisies.
is HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pushing Daisies, Joss Whedon was the producer or director or
Was
something
he?
like that. Yeah.
Joss Whedon's good.
That was going to be my answer, but then I changed my mind and then went more sentimental to my heart. Friday Night Lights.
Oh, yeah, that's
Haven't seen it.
It's a good show.
It's a very good show.
and I think it's underrated. I don't think enough people even recognize that it was on in left, and that was the end.
I have no problem with that at all.
No, not at
It's
all.
a very, very good show, and it's very underrated.
Yeah.
My show, I don't even know if it's underrated or not, because everybody who's watched the show loves it, but not a lot of people have seen it, even though it ran for 11 years. And that's Mystery Science Theater 3000. Austin, you've never seen it?
I'm gonna give you a look because I don't even know what that is.
Oh
Okay.
my god, man.
Okay, yes, you got to remember how young he is.
Oh, that's true. I'm old.
There's a couple DVD box sets down there. What Mystery Science Theater is they took every single god-awful movie ever,
Yeah.
and they would play them while having satirical
Characters watching
character
the movie,
watching it
giving
and
their commentary.
commentating on
Yeah.
it. Hands down, for
That's
me
really
personally, it's one of the funniest shows
No,
of
that
all
sounds
time.
awesome. Yeah.
They're
hilarious.
hour and a half long episodes because they play the entire movie.
Yeah. That's great.
It's really good.
Yeah, you will cry. You're laughing so hard, and it's a age thing. Not a lot of people knew about this show.
I mean, if you're younger than 25, you probably don't know it.
Yeah,
Which I am.
yeah.
There you go.
It ran from 88 to 99. So
I didn't know it ran that long.
and they even had a movie.
They have a couple movies.
Yeah. Well, they're all technically movies, but they had one
Yeah.
that actually went to theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. But
All right.
it was a guy and two robots,
Yeah.
and they were puppets.
Oh. Nice.
It is really campy, just like the movies, but the
It's
things,
like if we got together and watched these shitty movies.
and we would throw just like corny 80s references in there, like James Bond, just stuff that it just
Which we should do.
we'd be getting drunk and making dick jokes. Like that's the whole thing.
that's exactly have you ever got drunk with your friends and just made fun of a movie?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what Mystery Science Theater is.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
Just with the worst movies you've ever seen, just so people would actually love those movies.
Yeah.
Like, if you saw a movie outside of Mystery Science Theater, you'd still like it. Oh, I remember exactly when
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater did this. And then you'd actually just throw in the quotes with it. They did a couple Godzilla movies. They did this movie called EGA, one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Just good stuff.
All right, guys.
Is that it for that one?
Yep.
Okay, the next question that we had on the list is, what is the most coveted film from your childhood before you were 13?
Which is different for all of us.
It's different for all of us, so it's going to be a little range. Zach's the oldest and going down to Austin.
I have
so two of them.
I'll let you start then.
Yeah.
Goonies.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I
Wait.
love that movie.
How old were you when Goonies came out?
When did it come out?
I'll look
I don't even know.
I don't think I was older than 10.
It came out early
85.
early 80s. Yeah.
85?
85.
Oh yeah, I was 2.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't see it till I was like 8.
Yeah.
I thought it was later
Love
than
that movie. So good.
Yeah, that's great.
I could watch that movie and not get tired of it.
Do the truffle shuffle.
And
Down
then
here, this is our time.
Sean Astin and Josh Brolin and that's so good. Chester Copperpot.
Guys.
Chester Copperpot.
All right, what's your second one?
The original with Corey Feldman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I have seen that movie there was a summer, I think when I was 7, when I watched that movie 2 to 3 times every day for 3 months.
You know who's Elias Codius in that?
So good.
That's
yeah.
Casey Jones.
And Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell. That was his first movie
didn't
where he was the
know
coke,
that.
or
Yep.
he was the
He was one of
drug-
the bad
the-
thug
the-
kids.
selling cigarettes
Oh
because
my
that was the
God,
bad thing to
man.
do back then.
I can't
He
begin.
was a
to-
member of the
Awesome.
And best thing, I found it on Blu-ray about 2 months ago for $5
Are you
at
shitting me?
Walmart. I swear,
That
it was
is the best money.
purchase I've ever made.
Yeah, that came out 1990.
Oh man, I love
All right.
The soundtrack for that is amazing.
legit. The second one's also
too.
good.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yes,
And then they had the one
I don't count the third one because that's
where they go back to feudal Japan.
yeah, it's so different than the other two.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, Andrew, what's yours?
What are we doing? Coveted film from our childhood. I think it was 7 or 8 or 9 when this came out. Jurassic Park. I've said it before. Movie defined my childhood. I wanted to pick a movie that came out whenever I was that age, not a film that I watched, like Star Wars or something that I would have watched when I was
right?
younger. I wanted
That's
to
yeah,
pick
that's
a film
kinda
that
how I looked
actually
at it,
came
too.
out whenever I was that age. So I went with Jurassic Park, but I would for films, like as a kid, I would have watched. Yeah, Ninja Turtles would have been up there, but even to this day, Jurassic Park, the CGI holds up better than a lot of films that you see out there. And it's right on the tipping point at this current time we're filming this podcast of being kicked out of IMDb's top 250. It's 250 right now. So go online and rank that shit up because it definitely deserves to be in the top 250.
You, sir?
All right.
And they're making Jurassic World, which we talked about in the podcast before this that we filmed. April 13th, I think, is when that podcast came out.
Anyway.
This movie actually came out a year after I was born, but like you, I saw it
when you were like
down
7.
The road.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The most coveted film from my childhood, The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking the first one?
The first one.
No,
actually, I love all three of them.
Is the second one the one where they go to the Junior Olympics?
Yeah,
Olympics.
D2 Mighty Ducks.
Oh, that's so good.
That's the best one.
The Flying V.
The Flying V, but I remember the first one, Emilio Estevez driving onto the ice with the limo, and the mom freaking out, like, what the fuck you doing?
Okay, get off the roof, you little monkeys.
Yeah. Such a great movie, and I love all three of them, but that was just the first one, so that's the one that like sticks in my mind. It's the first one I saw.
Yeah.
I freaking love those movies, and I love that movie.
I actually saw D2 before I saw the
I did
first
too.
Mighty Ducks.
Really? I saw them in order.
Because you had the Bash Brothers, the Flying V, and then
You had the what was that called? The puck, the special puck shot.
Oh, the Knuckle Puck.
Knuckle puck. Yeah.
Flips up on its side, and
Yeah. And then you had...
he only hits 1 out of 10, but when he does...
who was the other team? They were the
Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like Karsten Norgard, who was the coach of Wolf Stan's house.
That's a good name, Karsten Horsgaard or whatever you said.
Norgard.
Norgard. That's a good name.
Yeah, spelled with 2 A's.
But yeah, guys, come on, Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
that was my childhood right there.
Those are all
I have
three
seen
great.
all three of those movies so many times, it's ridiculous. Like,
who was the super hot, the blonde chick from Iceland? Maria, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, she was fine.
I think it was in the second movie.
She was actually a student.
Yeah, no. Well, I was thinking the second movie when the goalkeeper Goldberg, when they go to Rodeo Drive, and he pretends to be the son of somebody really famous.
Oh, it was Aaron Spelling.
Aaron Spelling. Yeah. I'm Aaron Spelling's grandson.
All the most
random people. Yeah,
she's fucking Aaron Spelling.
And they let him in. And they're like
Yeah.
watching the models like undo the. Yeah, it was great.
All right, so next we have what is the scariest film of all time?
Oh yeah. Ooh. I have a bunch for this one, and I'm going to list them all because I'm going to just start off with one. We'll go around, then I'll do my other one. The film that scares me more than any other film, and I think a lot of films are, they haunt you from your childhood and stuff like that. So if you watch it as a kid, it's scarier then. But if you watch it now, it's not scary, but it still kind of scares
That's how
you.
mine are. Like, I have one from my childhood and then one from, like, my later.
Yeah,
like,
that's
adulthood.
exactly... Okay, as you all know, my biggest fear in the world is ghosts. I have phasmophobia. What a lot of people don't know is I have a crippling fear of sharks as well. So for me, the scariest film of all time is Jaws.
Love that movie, by the way.
Can't fault you for that.
I can't watch that movie. There's a couple movies that creep me out, that just make me cringe, like Arachnophobia, because I don't like spiders, but I can watch it, and I think it's kind of funny because John Goodman's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But Jaws, there's not a funny thing about that movie. It is... I can't go to the beach. That's why I live in, landlocked Missouri. I don't have to worry about sharks.
Honestly, the scene...
But we do have piranhas, though.
We do have piranhas.
Do we?
Yeah, and Taneycomo?
Yeah, I think it's
know that.
Taneycomo.
Yeah, we got piranhas.
In the scene where they're all in the boat after the first encounter with the shark, when they go out to hunt him, and they're comparing scars.
Oh, yeah.
Love that scene. Fun fact, that was actually not originally in the script. Spielberg's one directed that, right?
Yeah.
He heard them talking about their scars, like offset one day, like while they're all drinking, just having a good time. He's like, that's a great scene. And he put that scene in the movie because of just hearing the actors like talking about it in real life. That scene wasn't really...
It's in the top 250. I think it's like 203.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of like the epitome of like story structure of how to like structure a film. Because like, I remember being taught like Jaws is kind of like, hey, this is how, like, as far as like the hero's refusal of the call and then coming back and being the hero, and like it's like kind of the epitome of like what a movie is supposed to be with story structure.
The most famous line from that movie, "We're going to need a bigger boat."
Yeah.
That wasn't in the script either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go. Scariest movie of all time. I'm going from my childhood first. It.
Okay, that was my other one.
Really?
It.
Yeah, that is a really scary movie.
I saw that
for me,
movie when
too.
I was like fucking, I don't even know, like 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Creeped the shit out of me. The scene where he's in the freaking like drainage pipe, he's looking up on the street.
He's talking about the
Oh my God.
boat or the balloons.
The balloons.
Yeah.
As a kid, that's the scariest I remember being right there.
Yeah, that was mine too.
That's
Really?
fucking
being a
Tim
kid,
Curry.
Yeah.
So creepy.
So
Pennywise. The clown Pennywise. That was his name. Whew. Look, I got fucking goosebumps thinking about that movie. Look at this shit.
For mine, I picked for me, and I don't like horror movies. That's kind of why. So when I think of a scary movie, I'm thinking of movies that creep me out from the aspect of it could really, really happen. Mm-hmm. So there's a movie that came out, I think in 2004 or maybe a little later, called The Andromeda Strain, based off the book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's about this disease that just breaks out in the middle of the U.S. And come to find out, it just... Anyway, it ends where this fucking creep... They could have destroyed it.
Yeah.
Spoiler, it's been out for a long time. Sorry if you haven't seen it. Anyway, they could have destroyed it, but this military dude or a senator or somebody blackmails one of the scientists into giving him a little bit of the strain so that he can put it in space if they ever need it for a weapon. And then years later in the future, come to find out, the satellite crashes and the world ends.
Oh.
Wow.
That creeps me the fuck out because that shit could happen. Or what's the movie with Timothy Olyphant? The Crazies?
Oh, yeah.
That movie's freaky as shit.
I just kind of like that
What's
movie,
the scariest movie you've seen in a theater?
Okay,
The Crazies.
Did you
Or
see it
no,
in theater?
Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch Project.
The first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was real. But The Crazies would probably be one that
I was wanting to see if that... Because the Blair Witch Project is one of the creepiest movies of all time. Because we were talking about this before we filmed the podcast. A lot of people thought that it was real.
Yeah.
And they did a good job about that. Austin, you got
mine,
another one that you saw in theaters?
I saw in theaters, and it's my also, like, as an adult that I saw that, like, freaks me out.
Sure.
That's The Strangers.
Strangers with
seen it.
Liv Tyler. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Super creepy. Because, and it doesn't go, it's not like, based on true events. I don't know if it does or not, but it's one of those that you watch, and you're like, holy shit, that actually could happen. And you mentioned the line earlier.
Oh, why are you doing this? Because you were home? That's freaky as fuck.
Yeah.
There's another movie like that I saw, and up until a point at the end of the movie where it ruined it, called Funny Games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, with Pitt, Michael Pitt?
Tim Roth.
Yeah,
And-
Michael Pitt. He's the blonde kid.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, but Tim
that
Roth-
movie is scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Strangers in a way, and up until that one part, I loved it, and then I hated it after that.
The thing I like about The Strangers is like the way they use the music and then silence to create tension is just like beautiful.
Yeah. It also had Naomi Watson. Funny Games. Yeah. The director of that, Michael Haneke, he directed a French version before that, and that's what it's based off of. It was a shot-for-shot remake of the original one.
Interesting.
Well, have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Sorry if you haven't seen it. Up until that part with the remote control, fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Hated that.
No, as soon as I saw the remote control part, I was like, fuck these people. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
But the scariest movie I've seen in theaters, it's a tie because, like I said, in the first movie, I got my biggest fear of all time is ghosts. So M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense scared the living shit out of me. But I think even more than that is M. Night Shyamalan's other movie I saw in theaters, and that was Signs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say The Village.
No. Did you see Signs in
Yeah,
theaters?
I did.
I didn't see it in theaters.
It was good.
Scared the
really good.
fuck out of me. Like, there's the scene with the recording of the birthday
And the
party.
thing,
They
oh
walk-
man, that
it just-
gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
When it just walked across the screen.
Yeah. Yep.
I got goosebumps again.
Yep.
It just walked across the screen.
Yep.
That had Joaquin Phoenix in it. And that was Abigail Breslin back whenever she was just a little kid. And then
Before she started killing people.
Yeah, and she's like hated water in that movie.
We still reference that like in my house. Like my wife won't finish a drink. Like I don't know what her thing is. Like she'll order large drinks and then she'll drink like half of it and leave the rest in a fucking cup. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the same thing.
I don't know what it is. And I'll be like, what the fuck is this? Signs? Like Aliens coming? Like, what is this? Like, we reference it all the time because of that. So,
Mark Ruffalo was supposed to be Joaquin Phoenix's original part in Signs.
That's fine. I like both of them.
Oh, those crop circles also, they're real. I mean, in the movie,
I'm
that
sure.
wasn't CGI because they didn't want any CGI in it besides the aliens,
Right.
obviously. But
it's real aliens, guys, by the way.
What?
that's the biggest twist M. Night Shyamalan's ever done.
They
were
kidding,
actually
they're
really.
Oh my god, that'd
But
be awesome.
yeah, the Signs that scared the fuck out of me in theaters.
Talking about Shyamalan and then twist endings, I was thinking about like horror movies I've seen, and Dr. Caligari, or Caligari, I don't know how you say it. They made it. There was a 1989 movie that was based on the same characters, but it was like a re-envisioning of it. Really fucking shitty. But then there was the original one was a 1920s film. It was a German silent film, and it was the first one that is kind of like recognized as one creating a frame story for a movie, and then so like a story inside of a story type thing, and then also the twist ending. It was like the first one to really do it.
Miss Van Houten and the Disease of the Loss of Libido. Like,
Yeah, that's the 89 version.
yeah.
That's the 89, which is fucking horrible if you've ever seen it. It sucks. The original version, really great. Basically, and you know what, this is like almost 100 years later, so fuck you, spoiler alerts. But it's this guy who's basically like telling the story about this like crazy doctor who does all this crazy shit to him and stuff. And basically at the end you realize that everything he was saying was all in his mind. He's crazy, and he's actually locked up in a psych ward.
Spoiler for
Yeah.
Shutter Island fans.
I just while you guys were talking, I just thought, and I can't believe I didn't think of it earlier. But this is probably the scariest movie I've seen because I remember the first time I saw it, it still creeps me out, and that's Seven.
Oh yeah. I mean,
It's not a horror.
It's
just
not,
creepy.
but man,
but there is some,
it
like,
really fucked
gut
with my
wrenching
head.
moments.
What's in the box?
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about when they're trying to figure out why he's doing it and how he's picking his victims and
Yeah.
stuff. That really, oh man, I had nightmares about
Actually, I
that.
remember there was one part in the movie when I saw it, I did scream. It was whenever they went into, I think it was Sloth's house.
The fat dude.
No,
yeah.
not the fat dude. That was Gluttony, wasn't it?
That's
That's
Gluttony.
Gluttony.
Sloth was the guy who was laying in the bed and he looks like a corpse, and then he goes and he breathes.
it was
I screamed at that part.
man. Ugh.
But there's one more movie I want to say. Whenever I was a kid, there was this family theater store that had posters of movies all the time, and they had a Child's Play poster. And I had to, whenever I was like a little kid, so whenever we pulled up to this place to rent movies, I always had to hide underneath the car seat or underneath the floorboard of the seat
awesome.
because I was scared to look at Chucky.
I those are terrible.
But it's like I was saying earlier, there's films that you see whenever you're a kid that terrify you, and as you grow older, you can look back and like, it still scares me. You can see how people, if they watch it as adults, they're like, the fuck is this? It's not scary. It's just when you're a kid.
Okay. Well, our next question is: are there any films that have had a lasting impact on your life? When I posted this question, I'm talking about movies that emotionally drove you to like you teared up when you watched it.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
that's different than the one I put down. I'll answer my version of the way
That's
I
fine.
interpret it, and then I'll answer for that one.
Well, how did you interpret it?
I interpret it as whenever something happens to me in my life, I look back and immediately think of this movie. Which, that's even a stretch for the reason I put this movie down. Because there's a movie, every single time I get drunk and I have a hangover, there's a movie I watch and it always makes me feel better, and that's Finding Nemo. Every single time I get drunk, the next morning, I have hands down the
so
worst
good.
hangovers in the universe. I feel like I'm going to die.
That's funny.
But I just pop in Finding Nemo and I feel 1,000 times better. But for movies that I watch and they make me cry more than any other movie, that would be Crash. The scene where the girl jumps into her dad's arms to save him from getting shot. I don't think I've cried any harder in any movie than that scene.
Or The Red Fern Grows. Because of the movie.
when I was in school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in elementary school when I saw it. The book was worse, but yeah, I kind of cried during that movie.
Well, for the way you interpreted it, I would say Crash is it for me. And the reason is because that movie showed all those different people going through their situations in their way, and you don't know what other people have gone through. And in that movie, like if I was ever in a situation where I was being judgmental, I think, man, that's what happened to that guy in Crash. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But for movies the way I interpreted it,
Yeah.
there are several. I don't know. I'm a softie.
I even cried in Homeward Bound. Like when Shadow falls in the hole and he can't get out.
I've already said The Lord of the Rings. The scene
and it's 7 endings.
Yeah. The scene in The Lovely Bones where she finally realizes she's dead and all those girls come up to her at that tree, and man, that was some sad shit.
That was Peter Jackson too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was not a well-received movie. The book is even sadder.
Well, Stanley Tucci got nominated for an Oscar for that.
I wish he would have won, but there was other good ones that year. And then there's several others like In Trade. I've said that before, and I'm trying to think of one more that would surprise anybody. But okay, I know you hated The Crow, right? But the part where
I couldn't give two shits about
the part where he's in the
difference.
Ernie Hudson's apartment, and he's talking about how he wishes he could just, he sees he grabs his head and he sees, oh shit, that's what she went through, and then he realizes that nothing's ever going to be the same, and Ernie Hudson's like, so are you going to fly out the window now? And he said, no, I thought I'd just use your front door.
I just thought of another guilty pleasure movie, Meet Joe Black.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That just jumps in my head. What is a lasting impact movie for you?
Yeah, well, you guys are talking about actually coming to tears, but this is just for me something that hit me when it came out. And
we had different interpretations of that. So go off what made you cry more than, and then whatever this one is.
Harry Potter 7, the last one, part 2, because it was the last one.
Interesting.
I felt the same emotions when the 7th book came out as I did when the last movie came out.
Because you're like, there's no more.
Because I was in love with that series. I mean, I started reading the first Harry Potter book when I was 10 years old. And so it was just, when it was finally over, it's like, what the hell am I going to do now with my life? Harry Potter's over. And to me, that had still to this day, I'm like, there's still not going to be any more Harry Potter. That's it.
Yeah.
And to me, that definitely had a lasting impression.
When you think about it.
Yeah. So what film made you cry more than any other?
Oh, yeah, Where the Red Phone Grows.
Where the Red
Really?
Phone Grows.
Yeah.
So
sad.
Old Yeller.
Anything that happens to animals is way sadder than what happens to humans.
What's that Owen Wilson, Jennifer Aniston movie?
Marley
and Me. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
What happens to animals is way sadder than what happens
right.
to
Oh,
humans.
yeah.
Last one for this one is, are there any films you would like to remake to make it better?
I'll go first on this one, and it's just going to be really short. Dune. Remake Dune. It's one of the great... It is known as probably one of the greatest sci-fi books of all time, and that version that came out in the 80s or whatever does not do it justice in the least. 84 is when it came out. All I remember about that movie is it had Sting in it.
For me, there's a lot of movies I saw that I liked, but I would do a little different. But I would probably pick the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie to remake and make it better. Because there's so much...
They did. It's called Wolverine.
I guess that's true, but I would go with that because it had so much promise that was just left unfulfilled.
Okay, I have a couple. My first is Star Wars Episode 4.
A New Hope?
No, well, okay, sorry. Not
the fourth one. So
the
you
fourth,
mean episode one.
Episode one.
Okay.
Episode 1, the fourth one to come out in the movies made. Sorry, my bad.
I'm with you.
That's a big distinction to make.
You didn't
my
like
bad.
Darth Maul?
No, I had nothing wrong with Darth Maul, to be completely honest. I just feel like that is the one that set up how they were going to handle the entire other two movies.
That makes sense.
So I feel like if I could have changed that one, then I could have
liked it,
changed the
though.
other two to make it better.
Please tell me you would have left Jar Jar Binks out of it.
Left Jar Jar Binks out of the movie?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Jar Jar Binks would be nowhere near that movie.
I think the prequels are better than people give them credit for. I'm not saying they're great, but
But I don't think they stood up to what they should have been.
no, I think episode 3.
My
is
other
awesome,
one is
though.
newer, and it's, I don't know if you guys seen it. It's called Drinking Buddies.
Is that the movie with Anna Kendrick
Yeah, Anna Kendrick's in
and
it.
Olivia Wilde?
And Olivia Wilde.
I really want to see that.
And Jake
It looks pretty
Johnson
good.
from the new girl.
Really want to see it.
Honestly, if I could remake a movie, that might be one of them because it's got
I haven't even seen it yet.
It's got a really good setting to it, but it just falls short. But okay, basically what happens in this movie, it's set in basically the world of craft brewing beer. Like that's basically where everything's set at. And these two people work. Olivia Wilde and Jake Johnson's character work together, and they both each have like their own like love interests. But then they're really close at the same time. So that's basically the plot of the story.
I still want to see it. It's on Netflix.
Basically there was a like outline written for this movie, but zero dialogue. It's all improv. The entire movie, all the dialogue is improv.
That's interesting.
Which is a cool like concept. And Olivia Wilde and Jake Johnson do great because they spend a lot of time together. But crap, I can't remember the other guy's name. He's Olivia Wilde's boyfriend in the movie, and and most of his scenes are actually spent talking to Anna Kendrick's character. He was from Friday Night Lights. He was the dad. Ron Livingston.
Yeah, he was in Office Space.
Really fucking
Yeah.
Those scenes with him and Andrew Kendrick are hard to watch. They're like painful to watch.
Like good or bad?
Bad.
Really?
Like just because like with
no chemistry.
No chemistry with Olivia Wilde and Jake Johnson. Like it's all obviously like off the top of their heads, but they can make a conversation go and be funny and interesting. The other two, like there's so many awkward silences that aren't written in just because they don't have nothing to say to each other.
That's weird.
And it's really awkward to watch, and I didn't like it at all. But I think the setting that this is in is really interesting, and there could be a good movie with these characters in this setting. But because someone decided, let's make it an experiment and let them just improv it the whole thing, it really did not meet its potential.
We just need a little bit more time, so I just thought of something off the top of my head. Speaking of making things, we're all big book readers here, and the only reason I'm coming up with this is because you know what I'm going to plug already. If there's a book out there, or a book series, that you would like to make into a movie or TV series, what would it be?
Yes.
You guys already know what I'm going to say.
Off the top of my head, yeah.
So I want Zach to go because I don't know what he would choose because Lord
What
of the
would
Rings.
you say? Okay, I do know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, all of the book series that I love have been made into something. The Strain is being made into a TV show. Game of Thrones is on HBO, and Lord of the Rings was Harry Potter and all those. So I'm going to say one that you guys probably don't know, but it's called the Dark Elf Trilogy.
Is it? Oh, I thought that was the dwarf one.
No.
What's the?
That would also be a good
What's
one.
that one called?
The Icewind Dale Trilogy.
Yeah.
That is also a good one. But they're both deal with the same characters. So I guess you could kind of lump them in. But anyway, it deals with this. It's set in Forgotten Realms D&D world. And it's about this dark elf named Dritz Duerden. Like he's one of the central characters. And it's all about... Dark elves in Dungeons and Dragons are very chaotic and evil. So it's all about him breaking from that. And doing his own thing. And like getting out of the chaos and the intrigue and all of that shit that dark elves are always in. So fucking good.
Would you make it into a series or a movie?
I would probably, if I had the movie option, I'd make a movie for each book. But if it was a TV show, I'd put it on HBO or Showtime.
Yeah. And
have it be a series. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
It's really good though, if you ever get a chance to read it.
Austin?
All right. Mine is a YA series, a young adult series, that I actually started reading not long after I started the Harry Potter series, actually, about the same time. It's been out for a while, and I've been trying to pull it up to see. It was written by DJ McHale. I'm trying to see how many books there were. I think there's 7 books.
This isn't the ones that the fans wrote?
No.
No.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not what
it's called Pendragon.
Okay, I've heard of that. I always thought you were doing.
It's written on the story of the people from Pendragon.
No, not. There's. I think there's like
Uther, like Arthur and Uther.
No.
Okay.
Completely different. Completely different. Same name. They're completely different.
Oh, okay.
100% different. Basically, it's long story short. There's this kid, and this is if I were to write, I would write it a little bit different. I'd make him older, but he's basically like 14 or 15 at the time. And they have these things called travelers, and basically there's multiple dimensions, multiple worlds. I think there's actually 7 worlds, and you can travel through these portals to each world, but only travelers can travel between the worlds. But the fate of one world affects the fate of the other worlds, and then what we live in right now, I think it's called like Third Earth or something like that.
Okay.
So it would affect us too, but then there's also a second Earth, which is actually like just like I think 60 or 70 years behind us. but it's actually a completely different dimension. But then there's different worlds that are like have different like species and everything else from us. These certain people can travel between them, and there's this one evil bad guy who's trying to create chaos in all of them, so that basically he can take over.
Cool.
He can take over and rule all 7 worlds.
That's rad.
And all the travelers have to like work together to try to like defeat this guy. His name is Dane, and that's basically the series. But it's really at the beginning, especially, it's really kind of kiddie because the main character is like he's barely out of his adolescence. He's like 13, 14. I would make it older, and if I had the rights to all the books, I would make them into like a 7-movie series, kind of like Harry Potter.
That sounds awesome. I might have to read that.
What's that?
Who wrote it?
DJ McHale.
DJ McHale. Who wrote yours? Do you know?
R.A. Salvatore. He's written in this series that deals with this one character. There's probably 40 or 50 books. I mean, there's a ton of them.
I have one that I'd make into a movie, and then another I'd make into a series. The one I make into a movie, just really quick, Death of a Salesman. It's never been made into a movie as far as I know.
Yeah, just a play.
Yeah, it's super good. The big one, and you guys knew I was going to say this, and you knew the reason I came up with the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Hands down, the greatest book series of all time. I don't care what you guys say, you're wrong. It's the story of Roland Deschain. He roams the... You don't know if it takes place on Earth or not, but there's a center to all universes, and the center of all universes is the Dark Tower. And in his world, there's a great wrong. The world is moving on. Everything's decaying and dying, and the only way to fix that is to go to the Dark Tower and right whatever is being done there. And the only thing he can do is these doors teleport him to different areas in the universe, so he'll go to different times in our world and grab people from our world and kidnap them and bring them to his world and make them to help him fix what's going on in the Dark Tower. And there's 7 book series originally, and now there's 8. And he has to steal people and take them there. You never know if he's going to make it. You don't even know if the Dark Tower is real. Nobody knows if it's real or not.
Yeah.
So, who would I get to play him? If I had magical powers, I'd go back 30 years and I'd grab Clint Eastwood. But they say that Ron Howard is trying to make it into a series right now. I couldn't make it into a movie. There's just way too much content to throw into one. You've read the first 3 books? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you read any of the books?
I have not, no.
Okay. Even for 8 books, it's way too much content to throw in that, so it would have to be done in a series.
I wonder who you're going to say you would get, because I know who I would get.
They say that they're thinking about having Russell Crowe.
I wouldn't get him.
I wouldn't get him. Maybe Daniel Craig or Viggo Mortensen.
I was a Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen?
Pick, yeah.
I don't know if he's gritty or old enough. Maybe even Jeremy Irons. If he got shredded, like old man, like tough Wild West shredded.
What about Ray Fiennes? Because for Coriolanus, he got pretty buffed out.
I could see that. Maybe even Javier Bardem. Maybe
I could see him and Viggo, but I don't see any.
Javier Bardem was originally supposed to be Roland Deschain. There's just Stephen King based Roland around Clint Eastwood. From like back in his Good, Bad, and the Ugly days.
Yeah.
So, and there's not really that many people who have that gritty look to him now. So,
yeah,
Russell Crowe has the voice for it, just not the physical presence.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick him.
So, I don't know. It'd be a tough sell. Who played in Deadwood, the barkeep, who was the main villain?
Ian McShane.
He could. If he lost a lot of weight, he has the presence, like that dark presence.
If you're going to go with presence, then I would pick Powers Booth over him.
If Powers Booth lost a lot of weight. That's the thing about Roland. He's skinny because, he's starving. He's been walking for thousands of years. So.
Okay.
Book series greatest of all time. If you haven't read the book series, get on it. Audiobooks, yeah. It's just as good. I think the audiobook versions of those are the best audiobooks I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I think it was Robert Goodell who read those for audio. Audible.com.
So yeah.
There's a quick plug for you.
Yeah. Do it.
All right.
Have we filled enough time?
That is a perfect filler podcast.
Woo!
So whenever this comes out, hopefully nothing, incredible.
Major has just happened.
Yeah, that we aren't going to get you for another week. You're like, but what about, X-Men being and Spider-Man being in the new Avengers? Why don't you guys talk about that? Well, we weren't there that week. But to all of you Seaites out there listening, we really appreciate it. And even though this is a filler podcast, as we always close, we like to say, please subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. But as always, the most important, subscribe on iTunes. And as always, Podomatic.com, the ones who give us out this podcast, we like to thank them for giving out this content. And you can also subscribe to this podcast on their website. To all of you listening, thank you so much. We love you all. Have a good night.
Bye. See you next week.